So I wanted to start just by a brief introduction to what the Chamber does and who we are. If you aren't very familiar with us yet, our mission is to advocate, convene, and engage to strengthen business in the greater Charlottesville region. And so that essentially means bringing people together, listening, hearing what people need, and then trying to share that out and find solutions for what's good for businesses. We are a nonprofit organization, like a professional association, not supported by the government or anything else. And we've been around since 1913, so pretty old organization. We've changed a lot over the years, and even in the last few years, seen a lot of evolution. And I think hopefully y'all who are new to the Chamber will be excited with some of the new things we're seeing. And those of you who have been with us for longer, Steve, I'm looking at you, we can be excited about the things that are changing as well. So one of the things that I'd like to start with today, and we're not going to really talk about our business goals too much during this session, but I do want to just start by asking you to think for a quick minute about some of your most important business goals right now, and if you would, share one of those in the chat for us so that we can be using that as sort of a foundation as we talk about what the Chamber does and what the opportunities are for you. Then I'd love for you to be also thinking about what business goal will that serve and how can you forward your own purposes by using the services that the Chamber offers. So if anyone's willing to share one of those in the chat, would love to see those and learn a little bit more about you. I'll share one of my own. We'll go ahead to the things that we're looking at today. So on our website, we do have a new member checklist, and if you want to go in another window and actually pull this up right now, there's a printable version of it for people who like to check things off when they get them done, and you can actually check off a few things today. Item number 1 is to attend Chamber 101, so here we are, you've already checked that off for today. And we're just going to sort of work our way through this list today and see what some of the top opportunities are for folks who are relatively new with the Chamber. So we've got our website, CVilleChamber.com. I hope you all have visited there already. There's practically everything I'm going to say today, probably everything I'll say is on the website. And if you go there and explore a little bit, click around the menu a little, you will find all of those things. Of course, my little pictures of us are covering my menu right now, but we'll see that for a second. In our website menu, I'll just show you a couple of things that I want to be sure that you know where they are. And I'm looking at my notes off to the side to make sure I don't forget this. So under the membership heading are a few of the things that you'll want to be sure to be able to find later. The new member checklist that I just mentioned, our marketing and sponsorships, which we'll talk about later, and frequently asked questions is going to be a very helpful spot for you to go. We're always happy to answer your questions by phone or by email, but you'll also find instructions for a lot of the different things that you might want to do right in that frequently asked questions page. Let's see. We will talk more a little later on about our programs and events. And I want to show you one thing under our news heading, which is where you can subscribe to newsletters. Hopefully everyone who's a member of the Chamber is already receiving those newsletters. We have a Thursday Chamber News, and on Mondays we'll sometimes send you a calendar for upcoming events and that sort of thing. Do poke into those for a minute and take a look. Everything that the Chamber does will be coming to your inbox in those newsletters, and you'll find that you stay connected really well and also learn what other people have been doing in the Chamber. And then we'll just take one more quick moment here to go and see who the people are who make up the Chamber. Because we're a member organization, the Chamber is our members, but we have a few of our most involved folks, of course, our board of directors. And take a look through there, see some people you know, our ambassadors, our volunteers who you'll see at a lot of our events. And then I will just take a second here to introduce our staff to you. Many of you may have already met Elizabeth Cromwell, our president and CEO. She's been in about, I don't know, probably 50 meetings in the last 2 weeks with the Project Rebound initiative that we've been working on right now, looking for ideas coming from the community to restart the economy. And Andrea Copeland-Whitsett is our Director of Member Education Services. She also runs our Leadership Charlottesville program. She's a liaison for the Business Women's Roundtable as well as the Minority Business Alliance. Raquel Jackson, our Member Services Representative, she's a person that you'll reach on the phone if you call the Chamber at our main number. And she also takes our emails when you reach out to connect@cvillechamber.com. And she can help you with any issues that you have with registering for events, with going through our member area of the website, or anything else that you need. Call or email Raquel and she will help you out. Sharon Engel is our accountant. You may occasionally get an email from her about something or other, so look out for her name. It's not a phishing email, it's her. And then me, Anne Marie. So I think that's everything that I wanted to look at on our website so far today. And we've checked off 4 of the things in our to-do list so far. So what I also want to show you is that up here at the top of the website, there's a member login button. And when you go to this login, now I'm going to actually log in here and see if I remember my username and password. And this is where you'll be able to manage things about your directory listing, your personal profile with the Chamber. You have, in your Chamber account, you have representatives of your business who are listed, and so your employee list you can update in here. You can also look through our Chamber directory and find more detailed information than what you get on our public website. You'll get people's individual names, emails, and phone numbers, and so that's a great way to get in touch with somebody. You can search people by name. And again, if there's anything that you want to do in this member login area that you have trouble with, certainly look in the frequently asked questions, but Raquel is your source of information for all of those things. And at that point, I will pause for a moment and see if anybody has questions. I'll check the chat here, and feel free, if you have a question, to unmute yourself and go ahead and ask. Questions so far? Everything makes perfect sense? This is amazing, awesome. Okay, so we will continue here. The checklist that I am going over for you today kind of has 3 varieties of opportunities for you. We start out by just exploring the Chamber, what we offer, how to find information. We'll now move into different ways that you can connect with our members. That's what most people say they join the Chamber for networking and connecting with people. And so we'll go through a bunch of those opportunities. And then in the last part of our session today, we'll talk about ways that you can promote your business. And a lot of those are simple and free. The ones that I'll highlight today mostly take less than 20 minutes. So as far as connecting, of course, Chamber events are the easiest way to do that. You sign up, you show up, and you meet people. And so in our website menu, that's under events, and you can look at our calendar to see what's coming up. And you might think right now that there are no events going on because everyone's stuck at home, but actually we've moved a lot of our events online, just like this one. So we have our different roundtables that meet. Most of them meet every month, and we'll talk through these in a little more detail later. As I said, we have these Project Rebound meetings going on right now. Our Member Mondays are a sort of educational / marketing series that you all can be presenters for if you want to, and we'll talk about that for another moment later. And then our special events sometimes, like tomorrow we have coming up some presentations by this year's Leadership Charlottesville class. They'll be showing all the projects that they worked on as teams this year. And that was meant to be an in-person event, but we've moved it online so that folks can still take part in that. And when you are interested in signing up for an event, you can come through this public calendar here, or you can go into that member login area. It'll already have your information when you go to sign up, so you won't need to sort of sign in again to get your Chamber member access to those events. A lot of our events are open to the public. Some of them are free for Chamber members, but you have to pay if you're not a member. So it always helps to be logged in when you sign up for those events. Let's see, all of my live websites in the presentation have decided to go back to the homepage. That's fine. Under our programs heading here, is where you'll find all of our roundtables, councils, and committees. Let's see if we can get to that page. These are affinity groups that are mostly based on industry. A few of them, like our Business Women's Roundtable or the Minority Business Alliance, are more like interest groups. And each of these, I'm not sure how this is showing up on your screen. On my screen, my list of roundtables is kind of hidden on the side. Okay, so I'll just quickly mention a little bit about these roundtables, what they're for, and how often they meet. Our Aging in Place Business Network serves I think my Zoom just left me for a moment. Sorry about that. Can everyone see me and hear me okay again? Give me a wave if things are good. Thank you. Okay, so we're talking about our roundtables here. Aging in Place Business Network serves our businesses and nonprofit organizations that work with the 50+ community. And so everything from our senior living communities to healthcare practitioners, estate planning professionals, anyone who works in that space. And they meet every month. It's a very active group. They have a lot of educational presentations. Our Business Women's Roundtable meets also monthly, and that's a really active group as well, mostly entrepreneurs, small business owners, professionals. And they also, this year, they're doing a leadership lessons series where each month they'll hear from a woman leader in our community and sort of the story of how she got to where she is and the lessons she's learned along the way. Our Charlottesville Area Development Roundtable serves builders, real estate agents, planning professionals, and they really engage pretty deeply with the city and county policies that affect development. They meet quarterly. Our Defense Affairs Committee meets periodically. They don't have any meetings scheduled right at this moment, but they meet up at the UVA Research Park and serve all of our defense and intelligence industry folks. We also have our Minority Business Alliance, as I've mentioned, that serves businesses that are owned and operated by minorities and small businesses. They have a lot of content that's focused on entrepreneurism and running a small business and how to also access resources that are especially geared toward those businesses. Our North Charlottesville Business Council meets every other month up on Route 29, and it's a discussion group for things that happen in that corridor especially. And the Public Policy Committee is folks that are looking at specifically local, regional, state policies for the most part that our chamber can potentially help advocate for and make changes to policy that can be beneficial for the business community. We also have a young professionals group that is almost beginning. They were set to have their first meeting right when all meetings got canceled, and so they're still in the works, but that will be coming to us fairly soon. And those are all of our roundtables. We also, again, as I've said, we've had all these meetings lately with Project Rebound, and if folks are interested in hearing about that, I can tell you a little more. But there are industry-focused discussion groups, 7 different teams, and we're expecting that some of those groups may continue to meet as chamber roundtables in the future. And I always like to tell people that getting involved in a roundtable, attending those meetings and events, whether they're virtual or in person, is one of the best ways to make personal connections with people. Working alongside people who are in your industry, learning together, networking, you really have a chance to make a little bit deeper connection than sometimes people get when they're just popping into a networking event. And working on loading up our Leadership Charlottesville page for you here. This is a program that possibly you've heard of already, even if you're not involved with the chamber. It's been going on for decades, and every year a group of about 30 to 40 people locally who are some young emerging leaders, some really established leaders and CEOs, really diverse mix of people, does an 8-month program together of community learning, and they do a service project together. And It's a pretty big investment of time, and there's some money involved as well. But the connections that people make during this program, they say, really are lifelong connections. There's an alumni association for Leadership Charlottesville, and they keep folks involved with events and news and programming. And it's a really incredible way to get a deep look at the community, what some of our issues are, what some of the solutions are, and to make those connections with folks. So we've talked about pretty much all the ways, I think, to connect in person, and I'll just briefly remind you that we do have our social media accounts: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We love to see what you guys are doing on those channels, and if you tag the chamber for something that you want us to get involved in or something that you want us to see, we'll try to pay attention to that news and share it around if we can. That's also a way that you can catch some of the news or some of the announcements if you're not too plugged into your email newsletters. And then finally, as far as staying connected, we do offer text reminders for a few of our groups, and you can actually do that right now if you want to learn about our Let's Connect events when they happen. Let's Connect is our monthly networking series, and that one is paused right now because it's normally about 150 person gathering, and those, of course, are off the table. So we're expecting to hopefully be able to resume those a little bit later in the summer, but it may be a smaller format. But if you'd like to sign up for any of those text reminders, Let's Connect, BWRT is the Women's Roundtable, AIPBN, that Aging in Place Network, and you just text those letters to 71441 and you will get a reminder once or twice before when those meetings are going to happen. So I will pause again there and see if anyone has questions. Feel free to unmute yourself or
actually a quick thing on the signing up for the text messaging, Anne-Marie. Everybody, you have to text those acronyms or words individually. So to sign up for each one, you got to send, if you want to sign up for all three, send 3 different texts to 71441, and basically you'll get a text reminder about a month out from the events, and then a couple of days before the events we send another one just as a reminder. So like for the BWRT, the Business Women's Roundtable, who has an event, they have a meeting on Thursday. We sent out a reminder probably about a half an hour ago to remind everybody there was a meeting Thursday. So
thanks, Steve. And Steve, of course, is the one who actually sends those text reminders for us, so thank you for that. Does anyone have questions about any of the stuff that we've run through in the last few minutes? Anything you'd like to hear a little bit more about right now? Sounds like no, everything's making sense still. Wonderful. Well, thanks for being along with us so far. So next we'll move into learning about the different ways that you can promote yourself and your organization through the chamber. And I showed you before the link for our marketing and sponsorships page. I'm not going to talk to you today about every single thing on this page, but I highly encourage you to take a look and see which of these opportunities might fit your time and your budget and your organization's needs. The first thing that I love to tell people about is actually one of our biggest investment opportunities, comes with a lot of benefits, our Partners in Trust Leadership Circle. And this is it's a group of folks who invest in the chamber a little bit beyond our normal membership dues. And for a big sponsorship program, our primary sponsorship program, it's actually pretty accessible to small businesses. Organizations with 10 employees or fewer can enter this program for $1,000, and it's a substantial investment. It goes all the way up to $50,000. If you happen to have that lying around, feel free to join at that level. But there is a lot of visibility that comes along with that program. Our Partners in Trust are displayed on banners at all of our events, in all of our emails that our staff send out. They have exclusive events together, so they have access to other CEOs and high-level decision makers. And if you have a little bit of money to invest and want to support the work that the chamber is doing in the community, I would encourage you to consider that as a really interesting program. And the rest of the stuff that we'll talk about right now is actually all free, easy, it takes less than 20 minutes. And there are some other investments in between those levels. We do have a few event sponsorships, although we've pulled back a little bit on those frequent events in the last few years, hearing from people that they didn't necessarily want a luncheon every month or that sort of thing. But we do have a few event sponsorships available. We, of course, offer ribbon cuttings for new businesses or business milestones, renamings, new offices, that sort of thing. There are a couple of different speaking opportunities. One I mentioned is the Member Mondays program. You give a 30-minute informational presentation on a Monday, and it's not like an infomercial about your business, but more, here's some expertise I have that I'd be happy to share with the community. And by the way, I do this as my job as well. And then we also, for those who like the snail mail, we do offer our postal mailing list for purchase. And it's not too expensive. It's $250 if you are sending out a snail mail campaign. That is a really well-targeted business list. So getting on to the free and less than 20-minute things. One thing that I encourage everyone to do is to do a quick review of your listing in the chamber directory. So on our website, we get about 80 searches a day in the directory of people looking for businesses. Most of them are category searches, and so they're looking for, say, hotels or restaurants or investment advisors or some specific category. So make sure that you've selected a category that is the most relevant to your business, and you can also add additional categories to your listing for a small fee. But then you also have the opportunity to add keywords. You want to make sure that your contact information, whoever signed your organization up as a chamber member, may have entered their personal contact information. You want to make sure that what's showing in your directory listing is the primary information that people should use as the point of entry for your organization. You also want to make sure that you've got a website address in there if you have a website, your social networks, and you can also add images to your listing. And this may be something that you'll need to contact Raquel for help with. We have just added that option, that feature to our listings, and we are still on our side working out exactly how that functions, but she can help you with that. We also have, and again, I'm on the wrong website page here, but under this news area in our menu, I showed you briefly before this menu, but submit your news is going to be an important page that you can go to for a few different free, simple opportunities to get your name and organization out in front of the community. So one of my favorite of those is our Chamber Spotlight. It's super easy to submit. You can do a spotlight about you as an individual. That's a great way to start conversations and get your name in front of the community. You can also do a spotlight on your organization, and that's more if you have a specific message, either introducing your organization to the chamber community or a new service or some new offering that you want to especially focus on, something you're doing in the community. That organization spotlight is a really great way to be profiled, and we publish those in our newsletter, and a special newsletter at the beginning of every month, and also on our website. We share it in social media. So you'll see your face in a lot of different places if you sign up for one of those spotlights. All you have to do is go to this page and you'll click through to a form where you can fill that out. It's quite easy. You can also, let's see, some other options on this page. We have a member newsroom on our website. If you have a press release that you want to make sure it gets shared everywhere, you can submit that, and the instructions are here on this page. It's something that you actually do through that login area where we looked at earlier. You can share an announcement in the chamber newsletter. Every Thursday, it's like a classified ad. We have 30-word announcements from chamber members. That's free. Everything on this page is free to do, the spotlight, the newsroom, share an announcement. And so you can actually email those to me, and the information is on this page. We also, the calendar that we looked at earlier features member events as well. And so if you have a special event coming up that you're sponsoring, you can go through that login area and submit it to the chamber calendar. And when we looked at that calendar, you may have seen a couple of those member events. There was a Facebook learning event and a Medicare seminar, a few other things. We do ask that people restrict that to events that your organization is actually sponsoring. So sometimes someone would say, oh, my church is having an event, can I put that on the chamber calendar? Well, if your church is a member, you can put it on the chamber calendar, but we ask that to be just for members. And let's see, we also have member-to-member deals, and I'll show you where those live on the website under this membership tab and member savings. And this is, again, something that you will enter through the login area, but this will show up on our public website. And this can be something that's special to members or that's actually available to the public. You just specify that when you enter the information. So this can be like, you know, chamber members 10% off some kind of service for this month, or whatever your deal is that you'd like to share. And we, all those things, all those news items that I just mentioned, I try to keep an eye out for them and share them as announcements in the newsletter as well, if we have a chance, so that it gives, you know, an extra way for people to find out that that's happening. So one last little item that I'll show you here, oh, come back, is that you can get a membership badge for your website or for your window. You can contact Raquel at this connect@cvillechamber.com email address. There's also a tab in the member login area where you can actually generate HTML code. And normally I would say stop by our office to pick up a decal for your window. Our office is actually closed to the public right now, and we're hoping that'll change really soon. But at this time, you can call or email, and Raquel would email one to you, or excuse me, snail mail one to you. And I think that is everything that I wanted to specifically describe for you today. But I would love for you to let me know right now what questions you have about everything that we've talked about today.